Today on The Report, the 21-year-old cold case of Amanda Gonzales has finally been solved.
Plus the surge in gang arrests following the Goshen massacre and winter storms in California.
Also, the White House's new TikTok ban on government-issued phones.
And Cal State Fullerton's new police chief. The Report starts now. Hello, I'm Elmira Darmanian.
I'm Shelby Martin.
I'm Noah Cicadas.
And I'm Alexis Ray. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at The Report CSUF or on our Titan TV Instagram at Titan TV CSUF to keep in touch with us and view our new content. The 21-year-old cold case murder of a female soldier has finally been solved, resulting in the suspect's arrest and long-awaited case closure for the victim's family.
On November 5th, 2001, the dead body of 19-year-old Private First Class Amanda Gonzales was discovered on the third-floor barracks room at Fliegerhorst Kaserne, an army base in Germany.
Gonzales had been asphyxiated and 4 months pregnant at the time of her death. The 19-year-old had been on her first assignment with the Army, where she was assigned to Headquarters Supply Company of the 127th Aviation Support Battalion as a cook.
After more than 20 years with no leads, authorities have last identified 42-year-old Shannon Wilkerson as Gonzales' killer. Wilkerson was arrested Thursday, February 23rd in Florida and charged with 1 count of first-degree murder.
Wilkerson, a former member of the armed forces, was discharged back in 2004. His motive for the murder remains unknown. In a recent court appearance, Wilkerson pleaded not guilty to the charges.
A detention hearing is set to take place on March 3rd in the Northern District of Florida. If convicted, Wilkerson could face a maximum sentence of life in prison.
Amanda Gonzales' case bears similarity to the murder of 20-year-old Vanessa Guillen, a Fort Hood arms specialist who was severely bludgeoned to death by a male soldier in 2020. Both Gonzales and Guillen's cases highlighted some of the harassment and bullying issues female soldiers face in the Army from male soldiers.
So what do you guys think about, female soldiers and how they're being treated? Does this shed a light on that kind of issue?
Yeah, honestly, we just have to do better. I mean, when I was researching, 8.4 of females in the Army get harassed compared to the 1.45% of males that get harassed. So we definitely have to investigate that. I think an investigation specifically of the Army should happen first, and then maybe get a little more penalty for these consequences for those that interact in sexual assault.
Before looking into the story, I didn't even know that women and men both get harassed in the Army. I mean, this is just those are people who are supposed to protect us.
Right.
And I just think that first step that we all can take in regards to just bring the attention to the incidents that happen, and especially the women ones, because
yes.
you just said that the difference 8.4 and 1.4,
1.5, yeah.
1.5, 7% almost.
Yes.
That's a very big difference. And I think if just by bringing up this question and bringing attention to the story, I think we can find some justice in this case.
I think there's many issues in the military right now that are often overlooked, and I think the harassment of women is just one of many of these issues. I think that measures could be taken to protect these kinds of tragedies from happening, and I think they have been taken. I mean, this cold murder case was like a Bush administration problem, and we've had 3 presidents since. We were literally still crawling around in our diapers when this kind of murder happened. So I think we definitely do have a long way to go, but I think that also there have been measures taken in the past.
Yeah, I just don't know, though, because we still have such a high rate of these sexual assault cases, and I'm not sure. I mean, with the military, some of their policies just don't align. They have this lowest appropriate level requirement that kind of hinders the amount of penalty sexual offenders can receive. And I just don't like that. I think it says right here, 1 in 3 convicted military sex offenders remain in the military. I think they should be completely, gone as soon as they commit the acts.
And with the amount of women who leave because of sexual assault, meanwhile the perpetrators stay, that's a really, really big issue.
I think it should be vice versa. The perpetrator should be the one to leave instead of women who's been harassed.
That's true.
Well, I think new technology that has resulted in a number of cold cases that are being reopened and solved, and who knows in the future if we'll eventually see more of these mysterious like Netflix documentary cold cases will finally be uncovered. Well, a total number of 26 gang members were arrested by law enforcement this past January in response to the massacre of 6 family members, including a teen mother and her 10-month-old baby in Goshen, California.
The mass arrests were a result in the sweeping of 97 homes in Tulare County, along with the confiscation of illegal material, including 5 guns with ammunition, 2 pounds of methamphetamine, an ounce of cocaine, and an illegal firearm manufacturing operation.
The raids across California initiated following the arrest of 2 suspects involved in the killings, conducted in a cartel-style execution.
Authorities believe the killings were the result of bad blood between 2 families associated with rival gangs in the area. The suspects were identified as Noah David Beard and Angel Uriarte, both members of the Nortano gangs. Beard and Uriarte are both charged with 6 counts of murder and pled not guilty.
Investigators have since served 9 search warrants in the Goshen area, and in their search, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation have seized cell phones and weapons linking 23 of the members of the Norteño and Nuestra families. Well, the incident, of course, is a horrible atrocity, and our sympathies run deep with the departed and their families. What is something that you all think can be done in the future to possibly prevent future gang violence in these communities?
Well, gang violence, first of all, grim stuff this morning. Second of all, gang violence, it's attributed to so many different factors. We have poverty, we have limited access to good schools, good education, lack of resources, extracurriculars for people, like they say, idle hands, idle behavior, it leads to stuff like this, access to drugs and guns. There's so many different pieces to it, and it starts with the quality of the communities that people are living in. It starts with the resources that we have for people.
Do you guys think that if we tighten gun restrictions laws in California, do you think this will be a solution for this case? I think we should overall tighten the gun restriction laws, but just specifically in California and with this story, what do you think?
I definitely think it could help. Because too many dangerous weapons are being sold to all types of different people that just don't qualify to have a firearm in their possession. But I also think it goes back to who's in power in these communities, the politicians, the people making these policies and enforcing these different laws. Like Shelby was saying, the resources, what resources can these people receive? Because clearly they're not receiving enough if they're indulging in acts like this.
I think in the case of this event, I think that gun control and the amount of gang violence in Goshen, California, I don't think there's any real connection because a lot of these gang members are not purchasing or receiving their guns legally. These were clearly like black market purchases or possibly like border trade. But yes, I do think obviously further gun control stipulation can be conducted, but I really think what we should do is focus on community outreach programs for these like impoverished areas where a lot of these young kids have to go out and commit crimes in order to, bring in the money for their families.
Right. If they were to be able to be caught with all of that methamphetamine, then clearly they'd be able to get a hold of a gun if it were illegal.
I think black markets are always going to exist, and the one belief that I have is that if there are going to be laws created by some people, they're also going to be broken by some people. So I feel like one solution that can happen is if we look deeper into the case and find the cause. Contrary to popular belief, it actually does rain and even snow in California.
Although still technically considered winter, Southern California is not used to the storms we've experienced this past week.
Most notably, it snowed in areas such as the Inland Empire, where it hasn't snowed since the blizzard of 1989. Cities such as Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana, and Rialto also became winter wonderlands.
Many other areas had flash flood warnings and hailstorms. Ventura County has been hit with more than 7 inches of rain, while Woodland Hills received 10 inches within 3 days. Big Bear Mountain has also gained a record-breaking month of snowfall with a total of 7 feet.
In total, rainfall for Los Angeles County gathered 10 to 15 inches of rain. The LA Area Weather Office writes, quote, "Quite a remarkable storm the last few days, with historic amounts of precipitation and snow down the elevations that we rarely see," end of quote. So, I truly believe people of California were not ready for the rain. I'm not even talking about the snow. Do you guys think that there are people who are less prepared in those areas?
Honestly, I do. I just don't think specifically LA people. Some of us don't even have freaking umbrellas or take an extra coat. I mean, half of us don't even look at the weather before leaving the house. So I just don't think we were prepared. And that's not good for us because, we can experience so many bad things, from the damage, homes being damaged, mudslides, all type of catastrophic events.
The wind was crazy. I mean, I was born and raised in Russia, so I'm not really, when I saw people being surprised by snow, I'm like, I was really confused. But I was like, let them have fun, because you guys don't see it very often.
No.
So it's just, I was not surprised by snow. I'm gonna be honest.
You know how they say, like, no one knows how to drive in rain? I feel like that is especially true in Southern California, because we've been in a drought for years. I remember all the time we'd always joke, "Hey, you're in a drought, you're in a drought." Mm-hmm. So we've been in a drought for years, and then suddenly it starts pouring rain. It's like freaking bumper cars out there. Literally. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, even though there's some fun coming with snow and rain for some people, because I know people who like rain, also it is a very dangerous time, especially for driving. So if anyone who's driving, just be safe, don't go over the limit, and just
stay in your own freaking lane.
Yep, that's
To follow up on Alexis' point, you're seeing really low-income areas of Southern California that have never had to deal with this kind of weather before, and they're clearly suffering. I mean, somebody. I know you appreciate it, but somebody's got to stop this rain. I gotta say.
I don't appreciate it. Nobody does, I feel like, but there are some people who actually like rain.
Yeah, me. I love it, but it is very dangerous.
It is.
And I think California is, with all this climate change coming up, we really need to start strapping up these boots and really, adapting to this new weather, because clearly it's nothing we've experienced before, but I have a feeling this is just the start of it.
No, for sure. I mean, especially just going around campus, seeing people covering their heads with books, and it's just so funny. It's so funny to watch.
Absolutely. San Bernardino County officials declared a local emergency on Monday to secure state and federal assistance clearing on highways and neighborhood streets.
In just 5 days, 5 feet of snow covered Lake Arrowhead in the San Bernardino Mountains. The heavy snowfall caused delays and issues in travel, trapping people in their homes, vacation rentals, and even school functions.
People continued to ration food and other supplies while waiting to hear further information from local officials.
The Lake Arrowhead area could see an additional 1 to 2 feet of snow starting Tuesday evening. Along with snow clearance from roadways, the declaration of emergency is to support the other necessary work and services, elevating the state's response.
The White House has given federal agencies 30 days to wipe the TikTok app off all government-issued devices.
The social media app is owned by Chinese company ByteDance and remains popular among young people, with an estimated 2/3 of American teens using the app.
This move by the White House comes amid recent tensions between China and the U.S., only exacerbated by the Chinese spy balloons that flew over the country this past few weeks.
Government officials fear TikTok poses a high security risk to classify government and civilian data if it were to be utilized by China's Communist Party.
In December, the quote, No TikTok Government Devices Act, end of quote, was passed, which restricted the app's use to national security, law enforcement, and research purposes. Even before this act, the White House, U.S. Departments of Defense, Homeland Security, and State, as well as the U.S. Armed Forces, already had the restriction in place, with the remaining federal agencies urged to follow suit in the next 30 days.
The U.S. moves to ban TikTok from federal agency mirrors the action taken by Canada, Taiwan, and the EU. Canada announced Monday it would ban TikTok from all government-issued phones. In the past week, European Union's executive branch also temporarily banned the app from all employee phones.
On Tuesday, the House of Foreign Affairs Committee will vote on a bill that will give President Biden the power to ban TikTok nationwide from all U.S. devices.
This bill will not only ban TikTok, but take action in banning any other software deemed threatening to national security. Representative Mike McCall, committee chair, states, quote, My bill empowers the administration to ban TikTok or any software applications that threaten U.S. national security. Anyone with TikTok downloaded on their device has given the Chinese Communist Party a backdoor to all their personal information. It's a spy balloon into your phone, unquote. So guys, talk to me. Do you think the government's fear of TikTok being used for surveillance and data gathering is justified, or is it like a stretch?
I mean, we've come across this problem for years now. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but in 2020, Trump tried to ban TikTok from all of our phones during quarantine when it was at like the height of its popularity. That darn clock app, like they've been trying to get rid of it for so long.
Honestly, about banning TikTok, I think there are some disadvantages to this app, but also there are advantages. For example, there are people who are making money off TikTok. It's their whole income. What about them? Yeah. Secondly, but there are also some disadvantages, as I've mentioned. Our attention span is so short.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. Nobody is watching. It's hard to watch movies and YouTube videos now.
Literally.
Without that's what I've heard from people.
I mean,
that's what I've heard.
Looking in how it's affecting young children's development. A lot of times teachers are seeing in classrooms that their students can't focus. They have to be just as engaging as their phones are. And, you know, for students who have ADD and other learning disabilities, you can see how that app just feeds into it because it gives them short form content. It gives them constant stimulation. It's just engaging enough to hold their attention, but not too long to where they get bored. And if you keep scrolling, it's endless. It's stimulating. It is stimulating.
I think this is a very smart move, actually, by the Biden administration. I mean, the Chinese government has been caught in the past using TikTok to spy on U.S. military bases with soldiers' profiles. And in fact, TikTok, as we've seen, is already banned on all U.S. military phones. So because of China's surveillance and data mining. So I think it's about time that the Biden administration take precautions to prevent China from any further Western infiltration.
I mean, I don't know how... I understand how it can be harmless. I understand how from the government-issued phones, from that standpoint, you know, algorithms are scary. Algorithms are accurate. How many times have your guys' For You page been identical to your best friend who's sitting next to you? Right. But, I mean, at the same time, banning it from a regular citizen, what harm are they going to have from my phone? Oh, my sorority group chat? Like...
Well, they have your credit card information, your IP address, your email.
I mean, our phones
like
these days are everything. So I don't think that if we ban it, it's going to be for the bad. But I also don't think that it's going to be a good response from the United States to Chinese spy balloons. Banning TikTok, kind of exaggerated for me. But government has to do what they got to do. And I genuinely think that banning TikTok from the phones that are issued by the government is a good idea. It is a good idea.
Absolutely.
It's valid. It is a new era for the CSUF Police Department. Starting March 1st, Anthony Frisbee begins his role as Chief of Police for the university.
Frisbee holds a strong background in law enforcement with a plethora of experience in the position. His desire to work for the city shifted towards his working on college campuses when he joined the UC Irvine Police Department 18 years ago.
After that, he was named UC Riverside's interim police chief. Vice President for Administration and Finance and CFO claims Frisbee held appeal in his, quote, experience in developing community-based policing approaches that are effective in a university setting, end of quote.
One aspect Frisbee enjoys about universities is the resources and alternatives for nonviolent crimes, such as student conduct, student wellness, or the counseling center.
When hired at CSUF, Frisbee said, quote, the goal is accountability for nonviolent violations, not to criminalize it, end of quote. Just last month, there was a vague threat made in regard to the Nintendo Direct Switch event. The following week, false reports stated a student threatened to bring a gun to campus.
Although Frisbee will have his hands full coming into his new position, we congratulate him and wish him luck in transforming Cal State Fullerton into a better campus.
And with that, that's all we have time for today.
Have a great week, everyone.
And stay tuned for more news, views, and info.
We'll see you next time on The Report.